How far can you get in LEGO Star Wars without switching characters? Well, it's a good thing our first two are basically clones of each other ability-wise, so this first level should be easy. We need TC14 to do the panel. Oh, I forgot about that. How far can you get in LEGO Star Wars without switching characters? Not very far. Thanks for watching. License some Scrimmel. Now, just kidding. We're gonna rank every level by if they're completable without switching characters or not. This one isn't, at least not when you play through the story. Free play lets you go through the level with a team of characters whose abilities should cover any obstacle in your way, but of course, my character pool is very limited. 4-LOM was my goat here because he's a droid that can use both R2 and 3PO panels, while also still being capable in combat. But we face a problem because in order to get out of this first room, someone's gotta force the door. Well, we can use another controller to play as the second character. That technically doesn't count as a switch. Anyway, after using Obi-Wan to open the door, the rest of the level was pretty chill until I had to get 4-LOM to the other side of this door. There's no way over it without a double jump, but I knew in regular story mode you can teleport TC14 back here by calling her behind the panel. So I thought that I'd be able to do the same until someone else showed up. Now that there was a second Obi-Wan, there was no way to do the panel to complete the level, making it impossible to beat the first level of LEGO Star Wars without switching characters at least once. Actually, I was wrong. While editing, I watched BD1P's video about beating the game without jumping, where they did this weird glitch to get a character over the wall using like the little droid vehicle. That works for 4-LOM. This level is completable. 1-2. This is just like the last one where you get a new character partway through who's essential to finishing the level. Jar Jar. You need him to use his high jump to get to the top of this rock so the other characters can pass. And as far as I'm aware, there is no other way to get past this part. You can't jump around to the other side, that's how you get soft locked. But somehow, calling in player 2 and then dropping out player 1 because he's stuck in a soft lock zone, then calling in player 1 again makes player 1 Jar Jar. That wasn't a switch! That wasn't a switch! Chat, is that cheating? No, I decided, because I never hit the switch button. And if you disagree, please let me know in the comments so my friends and I can laugh at you later. From here on out, the rest of the level can be completed with just Jar Jar, so this one goes into completable with 2 players and weird jank tier. 1-3 is very simple. You never have to switch characters at all because the only required puzzles to beat the level require a blaster character and you start out as Padme. Completable. Pod racing time! I fucking love the pod race! Low-key, we don't gotta play this level though, or any of the vehicle levels for that matter, because all of them are designed to be completed with only one vehicle. There's never any point where you need to switch to progress through the story. The game actually doesn't let you switch at all, so every vehicle level goes incompletable. I was looking forward to 1-5 because it seemed like such an easy free play sweep. We're not even going to talk about doing the story, you get stumped at the first door. The 4-LOM Ghost Yoda team comp should sweep the hell out of this level. They got everything: the Force, droid panels, grapple hooks, being short. What? Yoda isn't a shorty? That's what they call this ability, by the way. Isn't that funny? What the hell do you mean he can't crawl through that door? He's shorter than Anakin! Apparently, you can't do this one, but the Darth Maul fight gives you only Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, who are the same guy, so at least the last level is completable. Episode 2 time. We'll skip the first level because it's vehicles and all of those are completable. Level 2 is on Kamino, where we once again have only 2 playable characters, but they're different from each other and we need to use R4 panels to get through doors, so this one goes in completable with 2 characters. Level 3 is Strange. The first couple rooms are pretty chill with just Anakin, but he's useless in the third because we need Padme to blast some targets and R2 to get us out of here. So we turn once again to 4-LOM to help us out because he just so happens to check both the boxes we need. We do need a Jedi to get to the third room, so far we're hovering over the 2-player free play slot. 4-LOM gets us through the room and the next one should have been easy. All you gotta do is force these platforms around to the other side, but I was really struggling with that on the day and used teleportation instead. Okay, we'll take those. I don't know what happened. So it was heartbreaking on the next level where I realized we needed 4-LOM to get to the other side of this lava pit to activate a panel. Usually R2 would do it because he can fly, and unfortunately 4-LOM cannot. But I had an idea. I don't think he can make that jump. Maybe if I force push him while jumping. Is that a thing you can do? Try it out. Oh, dude, you could totally do that. Oh, that was, dude, I almost had that. Oh my god! Ah! Has anyone ever done that before? Go on, do they respawn on this platform? Or do they respawn all the way back? Oh shit. I only had one shot to get him all the way across. Oh! I did it! I did it first try! Holy Holy shit, let's go! Ah, let's go! After that, the last room was a cakewalk. Level 4 is the Geonosian Arena. And seeing as the only character-specific anything in this level are the platforms you need to force down, and we start the level as Mace Windu, it's pretty safe to say that he's all you need to complete it. Level 5 is Gunship, so we'll ignore it, and level 6 would be completely doable without switching if it wasn't for the phase of the Count Dooku boss fight where he will target one Jedi, forcing you to switch and hit him with the other one. This can be countered by playing as both characters, so this goes incompletable with 2 players. And it's looking good for episode 3. A lot of these levels only have 2 characters in them, frequently with the same abilities. But before we get to those, we have the level on the Invisible Hand, which becomes impossible as soon as R2-D2 enters the picture. It's 4-LOM time. Our goat can't actually get through a lot of this first part of the level, so we got a Force user in here to help him out. There was a bit of doubt during the Dooku fight, but luckily 4-LOM can't hit him. I was worried it'd just be lightsaber characters. And everything's fine and dandy until the very end of the level where you need 2 characters to force these levers. And that's the only way to complete the level, so I'll admit defeat for this one. From here on out, the rest of episode 3 should at least be incompletable with 2 players tier. The Grievous fight is no exception. There are a couple parts where you absolutely need Cody, so it goes here. At least that's what I thought! Until I went back to get more footage and was like, nah, I can do this with just Obi-Wan. First big obstacle. Grievous jumps over here and you're supposed to shoot these things with Cody. But if I could somehow find a way over there, I could destroy them myself. So after a minute of snooping about, I found this little bit of wall you can jump up on to get behind where Grievous is. Then after that, he jumps real high and you're normally supposed to snipe whatever these are with Cody, but I did some more searching again and found another wall you can walk on and once again, jump behind Grievous. His third and final trick is leaping across this gap, making you shoot another explosive with Cody. But as I found out with the last 2, these bombs can also be triggered by proximity. So I was able to jump close to where it was and set it off, letting me finish the level without switching. I am so good at this game! Kashyyyk is a little interesting. You could do it with 2 players, but by using the Force Grapple Red Brick, it becomes completable with only Yoda. I thought I was stumped by this drawbridge that lowers with targets, but Yoda can just jump over that bitch, so we're good. New tier for completable with red bricks. 3-5 and 3-6 both give you 2 Jedi with identical abilities, so they are both completable with only one of them. Now it's time for the original trilogy. This first episode 4 level has got to be one of my favorites. One of the best LEGO adaptations of all time. Too bad it's incompletable. Playing through the story, you're only good until the droids show up, and playing through free play, we can't get past this door because 4-LOM can't do levers, is what I would say if I was dumb. In my initial recording, I thought that you'd have to pull both at the same time, because usually there's a pretty strict time limit on them, but it turns out there isn't really, so you can get past these doors, and there's nothing else in the level that's stopping you from progressing. So yeah, this one is actually completable with 2 players in free play. 4-2 Through the Jundland Waste has a pretty similar issue to the last. As soon as we need a droid to open a door, it becomes impossible to beat the level. And also like the last level, in free play, I got stumped by levers, but they really weren't possible this time. It's just too strict to do with one character, so unfortunately, this is our first incompletable level in a while. In 4-3, you start off with the same characters that you end the last level with. Not that we would know that, which is a little tough because they're all different. But we can skip this first room by doing a little trick called Oil Glitch. By aggroing and de-aggroing this Stormtrooper, somehow that makes him open the door. I probably didn't do it in the most speedrun optimal way, but I got it to work here with just Luke. In the next room, normally you'd have to build an ATST to blow up this wall, but in order to do that, we'd need to take advantage of everybody's abilities, but Luke. So instead, we can use the Exploding Blaster Bolts Red Brick to just get rid of it, and move on with the level, where we now transition to Han and Chewie after a cutscene. Han and Chewie are basically the same guy in this game, they just have guns. So the rest of the level is super easy with just Han. 4-4, well, I guess I have to use Obi-Wan to get past this door, but I'm stuck with only Han and Luke. So yeah, this should be a pretty easy free play level. The only droid panel that you need is right at the beginning, and it can be skipped by doing some out-of-bounds shenanigans. But then to continue through the level, you kinda need to use player 2 to stop the AI from switching. This gap can be jumped across by Force users with a double jump. It's pretty tight, so the game will switch to an astromech droid to fly across here no matter who your player 2 is. And we need player 2 to be a character who can pull levers later in the level. Jango Fett works awesome as our player 2, but you do need to call him in to get him across the pit. After that, the level's pretty smooth without any major obstacles. It's completable in free play with 2 players. 4-5, every character here is the same. So it's great that we're starting as the best blaster character, Han. Everything is easily doable with just him, up until the final room where you have to use the droids to summon the Falcon, which we can't do because they're never automatically available as player 2. Thankfully though, there's a speedrun trick that you can do here to skip all of the droid stuff. By making it this far in the level, then turning back to the last room and touching this wall, you load in the Falcon in the hangar, then unload it, but the invisible cutscene trigger stays loaded in. So you're able to just jump into it from the side. This level is completable. Death Star fight, it's a vehicle level, oh my god, it's already ranked. Wow, look at that, it's completable. Episode 5 starts with another vehicle level, so that's 2 in a row we don't actually have to do. 5-2 requires C-3PO panels, and he's not a starter, so once again, we've gotta do it in free play. 4-LOM would be able to solo the level himself if only he was able to build. Vehicle level, skip that. Dagobah, you definitely need both player 1 and 2 so you can hit R2 panels. And the game always defaults to the 2 types of characters you'll need, so we're all good until the very last thing you have to do, lift the X-Wing out from the swamp. Only Yoda can do this, and of course we can't switch to him, which really sucks. But by separating Yoda and I from R2, I hypothesized I could do a similar thing that happened in the Jar Jar level, where the character isolation forced the other player to come in as someone else. And it worked! So this one's completable with 2 players and some jank. 5-5 is another pretty simple one. You only get Luke and R2 here, and you absolutely need both of them to do the level. 5-6 is harder to figure out. In the story, you need R2, so it's free play time again. 4-LOM gets us through some areas faster than normal, but things kind of fall apart at this jump. You need an astromech droid or a jetpack character, but you can't use an astromech because you need a protocol droid to get into this room. And you can't use one of the Fets because they can't wear stormtrooper helmets to get into this room. I gave up on this level until right now as I am writing this because I thought about it and I think it should be doable with just Han and R2. R2 can open a door that leads to a little outside area that Han can use to jump back around inside and under a door out of bounds. R2 makes the jump doable, and then Han can push R2 through the wall, and with a little bit of timing, R2 can fly to the next room out of bounds and teleport Han to the bridge control room. Thank God there isn't a tight window on these levers, and now the bridge is up. The rest of the level is just shooting stormtroopers on the platform. I am such a genius for figuring this out. Episode 6 starts with a level that needs droids. Free play, here we come. Other than that, this level only requires blasters and a Jedi, so 4-LOM and Ghost Obi-Wan were able to do it, and luckily the levers at the end were pretty lenient. 6-2, we need droids at the end again. Send in the goats! You definitely can do this one without the exploding blaster bolts red brick at the end. I think you're supposed to build a cannon to destroy these targets, but I just used the extra to make it faster. Completable with 2 players and free play. 6-3 is kind of funny because it is completely doable without switching, but you need to play as player 2 the whole time because only Luke can make it out of the first room alone. This is basically a vehicle level, so it doesn't really matter who you're playing as for the rest of it. I did need to use the Force Grapple red brick once though, so it goes in completable with red bricks. 6-4 might have the most amount of different character abilities in one level, so we're not even going to touch story mode. You can only get so far with 4-LOM and an Ewok before you need to pull a lever. You can't do this one. 6-5 is the Emperor fight, which gives you just Luke and Vader, so it's at least possible with 2. Actually, it definitely requires 2 because of the Force Lightning switch stuff. So we'll just do the speedrun super kill, which also requires 2 players. The final level is a vehicle level. Definitely doable, but that's a pretty boring note to go out on. Let's cover the bonus levels, 3 of which we won't because they're also vehicle levels. A New Hope is the original bonus level from LEGO Star Wars the video game, teasing LEGO Star Wars 2, which came out on 9/11. Fun fact, I figured it'd be pretty doable. We're basically doing Rogue One before Rogue One. We shouldn't need anything other than Vader and the Stormtrooper. I forgot about his ass though. It was pretty pog with Vader and 4-LOM, and I'm pretty sure both LEGO City levels are doable with just a Force user. So out of the 42 playable levels in the game, 38 of them are completable in some way without switching, 30 of them through the story, and only 8 of them through free play.
Breaking news!
Apparently, the custom characters get superpowers at 100% completion that let you have all of the abilities, so actually, you don't need any of these doobuses. We just need my LEGO Star Wars OC Spooky. He makes all of the remaining levels beatable in free play with 2 players. Yeah, so remember when the AI was stupid before and switched on the Death Star gap? It does that a lot more with these custom characters, so you need to babysit player 2 by calling them in and making sure they don't switch characters. And there you go! Every level in LEGO Star Wars is completable without switching characters. And if you would excuse me, I need to go run to class, because I finished this like right before. Like, it's not even funny. I need to go.